Hey guys, my name is TG Sido and today is the week 3 workshop. Let's get started. Okay, so what have we learned so far? We learned built-in functions, input, print, variables, int, float, string, boolean, also mathematical operators, comparison operators, string functions, logical operators, expressions, and finally conditional statements. Today we're going to put it all together and we're first going to start off with expressions. So here's expression 1, expression 2, and finally expression 3. Please pause this video and try to solve them on your own and then come back, we'll break them all down and move on to our coding task. Alright. Okay, and now for expression 1. So what do we need to tackle first? So as we see over here, we do have a parenthesis, so let's actually do the 7 times 4 first. So we have 28 down here in red, and then next in terms of precedence, we actually have mod. We also have floor division and floor division. They're all on the same level, so we will start from left to right. Okay, so 24 divided by 4, that's 6 in orange. Now we have floor division. We also have mod. Remember, again, that we do need to go from left to right since they are on the same precedence level. So 6 divided by 3, that's 2 down here in pink. And now over here, we have mod. Now it has the highest level of precedence, so we will do this now. So 28 mod 5. Again, remember this is the remainder from 28 divided by 5. So over here, how many times does 5 go into 28? 5 times, right? 5 times 5 is 25 with the remainder of 3. So we will see 3 down here in purple. And now we can do 2 plus 3, which is equal to 5. All done. Okay, and now for expression 2. So what do we need to tackle first? As we see over here, we do have parentheses, so let's tackle that. And then inside the parentheses, we see that we have multiplication as well as addition. Remember, multiplication has a higher precedence level, so we will tackle this first. So we have 1 times 3 times 4, that's 12. Bring that down in orange. And then we have our addition, 12 plus 17, 29. Bring that down in pink. Okay, and now 29 is definitely not equal to 38. That is true in red. And so now we have not true. Okay, now let's look at the other side. Over here we have 90. Mod 8, and we also have minus 7. Remember that mod actually has higher precedence than minus, so we will tackle this first. And so thinking about 90 divided by 8, what's the remainder there? How many times does 8 go into 90? 11 times, right? 11 times 8 is 88, and so we have a remainder of 2. And so that's what we'll see down here in purple. And now we have 2 minus 7, negative 5, greater than 1, and we see that over here, okay? So negative 5 greater than 1, this is definitely a false statement. And so we'll bring the false down over here. And then in this case, we have not true. Remember, not just reverses. So not true is actually false. And so we will bring the false down here. Okay. And so now we have false or false. So in this case, we're actually going to get false. Remember, to actually get true from an or statement, one of the sides actually has to be true. But in this case, both sides are actually false. So we get false over here. Okay, and now for expression 3. So what do we see here? Okay, so we have the stir calls. We'll start over here on the left and start with this because floor division actually has the highest precedence. It is on the same level as multiplication, but note if we have two things on the same level, we start left to right. So we will start over here, 15 divided by 3. So we will bring this 5 down in red. And then next, what's on the highest level? Actually multiplication. So we will do 9 times 4 and get 36 and bring that down. Okay, so now we have subtraction and addition. They're all on the same level. Let's move from left to right. So 43 minus 5, 38 in green. Plus 7, that's 45, okay? Plus 36, this is 81. And now we just have stir of 81, okay? And then over here on this side, we have 6, floor division 7. So what is this again? Remember, this is 6 divided by 7, but we actually go to the decimal place, take everything from the right, take that all off, and only take what's on the left. And so in that case, that's going to be 0 point something. So we're only going to get the 0. And so what we see over here is now stir of 0. And remember, anytime you say stir of a number, you're actually just going to get that number back in quotes. So stir of 81 is just 81 with quotes. And now over here, stir of 0 is just going to be 0 with quotes. And so now we're actually going to perform string concatenation and get the string of 810. Awesome. Okay, and now for task 1. So write a program that asks the user to type in their first name, asks the user to type in their last name, prints out the user's full name, ask the user to type in mode. When mode is equal to 0, print out the standard full name. When mode is equal to 1, print out the first name. And when mode is equal to 2, print out the last name. And when mode is equal to 3, print out the last name before the first name. Okay, and so this is our target output. This is what we want our output to look like from our program. So enter your first name, they type in their first name, enter your last name, they type in their last name, and then print out a little message with their full name, okay? And then ask them to enter a mode, 0, 1, 2, or 3. In this case, 3 was typed in, and then finally print out the resultant output. So remember for mode 3, you print out the last name before the first name, which is why we have Sido before TG. All right, so let's code this up now. Okay, so get their first name and their last name. Let me use some variables for this. So first name is equal to input of enter your first name. Awesome. Okay, so now last name. Same thing, input, and then my little prompt, enter your last name. Cool. Okay, so print out the user's full name, and we'll follow this particular message. So we'll say print, and we'll say, hey, your name is, and we'll use string concatenation over here, first name, plus, and then a space in between, and then last name. Okay, so now that we have that, we need to actually ask them to enter a mode and store that in a variable. So I'll say mode is equal to int of the input I'm getting back. Remember, I want the numerical integer form. So of enter a mode, and then I'll say 0, 1, 2, or 3. Awesome. Okay, and now that I have this mode, I can actually start dealing with these particular tasks. So it says when mode is equal to 0, print out the standard full name. When mode is equal to 1, print out the first name, and so forth. So what I need to do over here is actually use an if statement and an elif statements. So if mode is equal to 0, what do I need to do? Print out the standard full name. So I'll just print out first name, plus a space, and plus the last name. Awesome. Okay, so now elif, remember if mode is not equal to 0, let's check if mode is equal to 1. So if mode is equal to 1, what do I need to do? Just print out the first name. So print first name. Awesome. And now if mode is not equal to 0 and it's not equal to 1, what happens if it's equal to 2? So elif mode equal to, print out the last name, okay? So just print of the last name. Awesome. And now if it's not equal to 0, 1, or 2, what if it's equal to 3? What do we need to do? Print out the last name before the first name, okay? So elif mode equal 3, print out the last name before. So I'll say last name, a space, and then now the first name. Oop. Okay, so now that I have this over here, let me actually try to run this and see how it works. Okay, so first name, TG, last name, Sido. Let me try mode 0. Okay, so right, full name just as we expected. Let me try it for 1. Okay, Sido. And now let me try mode 1, right? Just the first name, which is what we expected over here. Remember that? Okay, now let's try mode 2. So TG, Sido, and now mode 2. Okay, so just the last name as we expected. And now for mode 3. So TG, Sido, okay, mode 3. Gotcha. Last name before the first name. Awesome. So we're all done with this task. Now let's move on to the next task. Okay, and now for task 2. So, write a program that asks the user to type in integer input A, integer input B, C, and D, and prints out a string with the variable names and corresponding values, okay? Implements the following expression, A times B plus C times D, and prints out the expression with variable values in place of variable names, and prints out the expression result. Cool. and this is our target output. So integer input for A, B, C, D, and finally over here, the variable names and their corresponding values. And finally, the actual expression with the values in place of the variable names. And finally, the expression result. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and code this up now. So I need to get an integer input. So I will use this. I'll say A is equal to int of input. And I'll say enter integer input for A. Okay. And note that this is going to be pretty much the same for B, C, and D. So let me actually copy and paste and just modify a little bit. Okay. Awesome. So B over here, B over here, C over here, C over here, D over here, and D over here. Awesome. So now that I have this, what's the next step? Prints out string with variable names and corresponding values. Okay, so something like this. In this particular case, I'm not going to use string concatenation. I'm just going to use prints functionality. So I'll specify A, and then comma A, okay? And then B, comma B. All right, and now C, comma C, and finally D, comma D. Awesome. So now that I have this particular step done, now for this step, prints out the expression with variable values in place of variable names and the final expression result. So something like this. So over here, I actually will need string concatenation. Okay, so I will need what's inside of A, right? So let me do a print statement over here. So I'll say stir of A, okay? And now plus, what do I have in there? Multiplication. So plus the string with the multiplication sign in there. And now plus whatever's in B, so stir of B. Okay, and now that I have this, I need another plus to actually put in this addition sign. So I have the plus in here with space. And now finally over here, I need to do this side over here, so C times D. So I'll say stir of C, okay? And then space with multiplication inside. And then now let me put in stir of D. Okay, and so now I've done this particular step up to here, but I haven't done the equal sign and the actual expression result. So let me go ahead and add that now. So equal, and then finally over here, stir of this expression. So A times B plus C times D. Awesome. So this all looks good to me. Let me go ahead and run this. So let me say 1, let's say 7, let's say 2, 20. Okay, so we have over here 1 times 7, 7 plus 2 times 20. So that's 40 plus 7, right? 47, just as we expected. And now for task 3. So write a program that asks the user to type in integer input A, integer input B, integer input C, prints out string with variable names and corresponding values. Okay, seems familiar. And check whether the expression A plus B is equal to C is actually true. Okay, so prints out expression with variable values in place of variable names. And if the expression is true, put equal equal in between the left and right sides of the expression. Otherwise, put not equal in between the left and right sides of the expression. Gotcha. Okay, so here's our target output. So getting the integer input for A, B, and C, cool. And then you print out the variable names as well as their corresponding values. And then finally over here, the actual expression. And remember, this will be equal equal if it's true and not equal if it's not true. Awesome. Okay, so let's get started. So over here, I need integer input for A, B, and C. Seems familiar. I think I can actually go up here and get a couple of lines. So let me get this over here. Awesome. Just made my life a whole lot easier. And now over here for this particular step, so I need to print out these values as well as the variable names. And so I also have something from here too. Work smarter, not harder, guys. All right, so Let me take this out. Awesome. So now I have these steps completed. And now for the final step, I actually need to see if this expression is actually true. So let me say over here, let me use a Boolean variable. I'll say expression is true. And I'll say A plus B is actually equal to C. And this is going to be true or false depending on the values of A, B, and C. All right. So now I'll actually use an if and an else statement, okay? So if expression is true, right? What do we need to do? We actually need to print out this information, okay? So if the expression is true, I'll say stir of what's inside of A, okay? Now plus, then we put the plus sign in between, and then now for stir of B, gotcha. Okay, another thing over here for the actual equal. Okay, so now that we have this over here, let's put over here the final value, which would be C. Awesome, so this looks good to me. Now we'll say else, right? If this expression is not true, then we actually need to just put in the not equal sign. So I can actually go ahead and copy and paste this particular portion. Oop. Okay, so now that I have this, let me actually run it and test everything. Okay, so let me say 2 plus 4, and I'll say 9. Okay, this is not equal, right, with a not equal sign. All good. Let me try that again with the actual correct value for C. Awesome, so this is equal. So we're all done with this, guys. Alrighty guys, we're all done for the day. We learned a ton. We worked through a bunch of examples. Thank you for learning and watching. Awesome. So we got a lot more to do next week. So I hope to see you guys back. And if you're getting value out of this series, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe so you can see all the content coming out of this channel. Thank you guys.